I thought I was making a flat card. Instead, every time I did something to this project, it gave me another idea. One idea led to another, and before I knew it, I was using these dies in ways I never expected and creating a shadow box card that looked nothing like the one I originally had in my mind. We'll be using the Graceful Seahorse Mini Delights stamp and die set, and this set comes with 6 dies. Everything to create the seahorse, of course, and a die to cut out the seaweed that will make your cards pop. Then we have the stamp set that comes with a few sentiments and some different ocean plants. I think more seaweed and coral plants, I believe. I'm not an expert on sea plants, but they're fun either way. Then we have the ocean die set that comes with 6 dies. This set includes several ocean-themed dies that can be layered together to create windows, frames, and scene-building elements for your cards. As I was working through this project, I ended up using pieces from the set in a way I wasn't originally planning, which is part of what sent this card in a completely different direction. The seahorses are really what sparked the entire direction of this card and eventually inspired the color palette and the overall design. With all of my pieces already cut out, I started by inking the ocean window die cut pieces. I'm using Altenew inks and I blended Andromeda and navy blue around the outer areas. Then I brought in pink into the center, which is a magenta, and I blended it outward. Once I had those pieces inked, I moved on to the seahorse. And for the outer skeletal layer, I'm not sure what that's called, I used coral berry. And for the inner seahorse piece, I used magenta. Now, do I think there's pink seahorses swimming around in the ocean? Probably not. But I wanted a pink seahorse, so that's what I created. And as I was inking those pieces and seeing the seahorse come together, something about it started reminding me of my niece's gender reveal. I can't really explain exactly why. Maybe it's the ocean theme. Maybe it's the idea of new life. Whatever it was, that connection immediately sparked an idea. What if I had 2 seahorses facing each other? The only problem was that I only have 1 seahorse, and both of my seahorses needed to be facing each other. So my brain started spinning, and I took one of the seahorses that I had cut out and I simply flipped it over to create a mirror image. That gave me the direction I wanted, but it also created a new problem. All of the embossed details were now on the wrong side. So in the meantime, off camera, I had already cut the seaweed and inked them using lime, fresh leaf, and reindeer moss while I was thinking about what to do about the seahorse. And so to fix that, I pulled out my stylus tools. Working from the back side of the die cut, I used the stylus to carefully press those details in the opposite direction. I followed the same lines and shapes that were already embossed into the original seahorse and just reversed them onto the mirrored version. I inked it in coral berry and magenta, the same colors as the other one. And then I realized we don't know the gender yet. So I need to ink one of these little guys blue, and that gave me the opportunity to show you what I did so you can see it in action. To fix that, I pulled out Altenew's new Petal Shaper tool set. I keep calling these styluses, but Altenew calls them petal shapers. The set includes 3 double-ended tools with 6 ball sizes, 2, 3, 6, 8, 8, and 12 millimeters. I placed the mirror seahorse pieces face down on Altenew's sticky mat. And then I used the smaller ball ends to press the narrow embossed details back through the cardstock, and the larger end of the smallest set, or the smallest, I don't know what you call that. You see what I'm doing. Ends for the wider areas. I followed the lines the die had already created, pressing a little at a time until the details showed on the new front of the mirrored seahorse. I didn't use the molding mat that comes with these petal shapers because I worked directly on the sticky mat and it got the job done. But I do want to say be careful if you do this. You don't want to poke any holes into your sticky mat. I mean, it's not perfect, but I was very happy with the result that I got. And then I went ahead and pulled the head to the seahorse back in. I used the same large end and small end of the stylus to create that same effect so that when I flipped it over, I had all of the embossed area on the side that it's not supposed to be on so that I could mirror that image again. And then it had those little embossed areas, so I used the smaller size of that tool, and then I just pressed those in to create that embossed area on the other side of the head. It took a little extra time, but it was exactly what I was hoping to create. Now that I had figured out how to create the mirrored seahorse, it was time to bring the idea to life. Since my original seahorse was pink, I wanted the second one to be blue, like I said, since we didn't know what my niece was having yet. For this horse, I used Blue Horizon as my starting color and then added deeper shades to create more dimension and help tie it into the rest of the ocean color palette. As I was cleaning up, I started thinking about that background. And I had been using the die cut piece that I inked up earlier as my guide for where the seahorses and the other elements would eventually go. But when I placed it over the white cardstock, it just looked unfinished. The ocean piece needed a background behind it to create some contrast and keep it from looking like it was just floating on the card. So I created a background layer and I inked it with Blue Horizon. That soft blue gave the die cut piece something to sit against, helped the darker ocean color stand out, and made the opening feel more like water surrounding the scene. Now I'm ready to start gluing all the seahorse pieces together. I'm using the Gina K Designs Connect Glue Matte and working on my Tim Holtz Media Grip Matte. I like matte glue for these small die cut pieces because if a little glue squeezes out all around the edges, it dries clear and doesn't leave a shiny spot behind. The Media Grip Matte holds the little pieces in place while I'm adding the glue and lining everything up. It also gives me a surface that I can easily clean up when glue gets on it, so I can keep moving instead of stopping to deal with the sticky mess. You don't have to use these exact supplies, but this combination makes assembling small die cuts a lot less frustrating and keeps my workspace much cleaner. The seahorses are pretty easy to line up, but Altenew also includes a layering guide inside the packaging so that you can see exactly where each piece belongs. This set also uses Altenew's keyhole system. Those small guide shapes cut into the layers help you match the correct pieces. You turn them in the right direction and line everything up before pressing the glue down. I'm using the guide as a quick reference, then matching those keyhole areas first. It takes away the guesswork, especially when you're working with several small layers at once. I'm using my tweezers to pick up the little pieces and place them where they belong, and when the tweezers aren't quite doing the job, I bring in Altenew's Perfect Picker. The wax tip helps me pick up the smallest die cut pieces, and the pointed tip lets me nudge them into place without getting glue all over my fingers. Between the tweezers and the Perfect Picker tool, the layering guide, and the keyhole system, these little pieces are much easier to place and line up. And now I'm wrapping up both seahorses by adding the fins, exactly where the keyhole system tells me to. Now that all the elements are ready, let's get the ocean scene ready for assembly. Using navy ink, I stamped the coral and seaweed images directly onto the larger ocean window die cut piece I had already inked. Those stamped details helped fill in the background and gave the seahorse more of an underwater setting. I'm not worried about stamping into every open space because I'm also adding this green die cut seaweed pieces. And once the stamping's finished, I start gluing down those seaweed pieces and putting them into the place exactly where I want them. The stamped images give me detail in the background while the green die cut pieces add another layer of color and help the ocean scene feel a little bit fuller. I take time placing each piece before pressing it down because once these are glued, they could become part of the foundation for everything else. And then once the green seaweed is attached, I bring in the seahorses and start moving everything around until I'm happy with the placement. I'm making sure the seahorses and the seaweed stay inside the ocean window die cut layer and don't extend past the edges. Now I'm adding foam squares to the back of both of those seahorses, and these are my favorite foam squares from Amazon. And I'm cutting some of them in half so that they fit along the smaller areas, especially around the tails. Then I'm bringing in the blue background, and I want to make sure that the seahorses are positioned exactly where I want them and that everything stays inside the ocean window. Then I looked back at the negative window piece that had been sitting on my desk, and that's when it finally clicked. I think this is actually the piece the set was designed for. I hadn't really studied the packaging before I started. The set was sitting on my desk. I pulled out the dies, cut the pieces, and started creating. So I laid the negative piece over the scene to see how it was supposed to work, and suddenly I could see the whole design differently. First thought was to ink it with Blue Horizon. I loved the soft glow it created behind the seahorses, so it seemed like the natural place to start. But once I placed the layer over the scene, it didn't have that same effect. What worked underneath the design didn't work the same way on top of it. The colors felt disconnected, so I pulled out the same colors that I used earlier on the ocean piece. I inked the edges with Andromeda and then blended navy into those edges to create more depth. Closer to the center, I left some Blue Horizon showing so I could keep the lighter glow around the seahorses. At this point, it's become very clear that this was turning into a completely different card than the one I had pictured in my head. The design kept evolving with every decision I made, and honestly, I loved where it was going. Now I'm adding the sea plants to the outer ocean window layer. Bringing those details onto the front layer helps connect it to the underwater scene behind it while adding more depth to it. And with the outer layer beginning to frame the seahorses, this card is officially becoming a shadow box card. As I'm looking at this, before I attach the background layer, I decided I needed one more piece of green seaweed so it looks evenly placed underneath the final ocean window layer. Some of the seaweed extends beyond the edge of the die cut piece, but that's fine because the top layer is going to cover it anyway. Once I'm happy with the placement, I glue the seaweed down and give the adhesive a moment to grab. Before attaching the final ocean window layer, I glued down one more piece of green seaweed so it looks evenly placed underneath the top layer. Some of the seaweed extends past the edge, but that's fine because it's going to be covered up anyway. Then I use my Altenew tape runner to adhere the ocean die cut panel to the Blue Horizon background layer. Once the two layers are attached, I notice the Blue Horizon panel is showing slightly around the outside, and we need to trim that off. So I use my Tim Holtz mini paper trimmer to take just a little bit off that one side until it's completely hidden behind the main panel. Now I'm adding Altenew's Instant Dimension foam tape to the back of the top window layer. I started with the 1/16 inch foam tape, but I decided the layer needed to sit a little higher above the seahorses to create that deeper shadow box look. So I added the 1/8 inch foam tape on top of it. I would have doubled the foam tape anyway, but combining the two sizes gave me the amount of lift I wanted. I'm placing the tape all around the edges so that the top layer has plenty of support once it's adhered. And now I'm ready to adhere the top window layer over the scene. And because the layers are the same size, lining them up is pretty easy. I like to stand the card up while I'm positioning the top layer so that I can see the edges clearly and make sure everything is even before I press it down. Once the top layer is attached, I'm going to bring in the seahorses. I waited to adhere them until now because I wanted the window layer in place first. That way, I could make sure both seahorses fit completely inside the opening and weren't hidden behind the frame. As I worked, I tried to keep the two seahorses balanced. I wanted them to feel connected, but I also wanted each one to have its own personality. Because the seahorses are already raised on the foam squares and the top layer sits even higher, the scene steps back in layers. That separation between the background, the seahorses, and the top window layer is what gives the scene its depth and creates the shadow box look. Now I'm ready to attach the finished card panel to an A2 card base. The panel is the same size as the card base, so there won't be any border around it. It will sit directly over the entire card front of the card. I can see a little bit of blue showing up at the top, so I'm using my long Tim Holtz scissors to trim the edge. Then I use Altenew's tape runner to attach the finished panel to the A2 card base. One thing I love about this tape runner is that I usually have a brief moment to lift the panel and adjust if I don't get it lined up perfectly the first time, which I usually don't if I'm being honest. Once I know the edges are even, I press the panel down firmly. After the adhesive has had a chance to grab, it holds really well. So I want to make any adjustments before I press the entire panel into place. I added the embellishments and sentiment off camera once I decided exactly what I wanted to say to my niece. Everything I use, including both die sets, is linked in the description below. And hey, if you're still here watching, I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today. And if you enjoyed this video and found value in it, give it a like so YouTube will tell other card makers about it. Subscribe so you never miss a video and hit the bell so you get notified every time I put one out. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.